that's kind of how it began. Like, how can we make this little spot in Vedado, which is a very hip part of Havana, a place where people can come, they can get information, they know that they can have an affordable coffee, meet new people, or just relax.
Yeah, there we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I'm a writer and I'm a journalist here in Havana. And when it became possible to start private businesses, I thought, okay, let me bite off more than I can chew. And founded what Cubans call a café literario. It's a bookstore and a cafe. But the idea was from the start, we have a mission and a vision. We wanted to be a community space. You know, Cubans are so social. And with private businesses, a lot of folks are focused on making a better living, improving their standard of living. And I wanted to do that for the people that work there, the people that come there. How can we make this a community spot where we're doing cultural events, we're doing literary events, and serving great coffee? Very common in the United States and around the world, in Europe, all over the place, but not so common in Cuba. And especially for English, we only do English language books. And a lot of Cubans are like, why do you only have English language books? We want Spanish language books. But it's a space issue, and it's also a competitive advantage. If anyone's looking for an English language book, they'll find us. So we opened in 2013 with that vision, and it actually became more successful and appreciated than I ever imagined. We're 8 years on, and then the pandemic hit, and so we had to shift gears like many people. There's silver linings. I mean, we have to hang on to everything that we can. So we've shifted gears. We do a lot of volunteer programs. We do a lot of continuing education, dog and cat rescue. We're very involved in the LGBTQ community. We're always looking for, okay, what can we do? How can we help? And people come to us with ideas. This is all pre-pandemic, but we've continued our donation programs throughout the pandemic.
So is it more bookstore or more like cafe kind of hangout place?
It's really strange because we have bookworms that, hound me for, do you have this title? Call me first when this book comes in. Look, and we try to connect people with the literature that they want. So we have a list of people and the books that they want. And whenever the books come in, we'll give them a call and let them have first dibs. Then we've got Cubans who will sit in front of a full ashtray and smoke a pack of H. Upmans, over 5 espressos, and in the kitchen they'll be like, those guys want another espresso? Like, they're just here all day with their guitar, or they're studying, or they're just chismeando, gossiping. So we get a mix of things. And then we also have programming for the most vulnerable. So we try to make sure that folks who are in need of a coffee but don't necessarily have the money for a coffee. And pre-pandemic, we had the cheapest coffee. Our espressos were 60 cents. And the most expensive thing on our menu was 2 CUC.
Wow.
So that gives you an idea of how long we've been around, how many changes have been going on. Now they're no longer a CUC. These prices are no longer feasible. But we've always been committed to keeping our prices as low as possible, because the idea is, let's get folks in, let's get folks conversing, sharing their experiences, especially when there are foreigners coming. And Cuba is so difficult. It's such a complex scenario and society. And even folks who have traveled, I used to write for Lonely Planet. I've written like 20 guidebooks for the Lonely Planet. And so folks who have been around the world, those crazy Australians who go on the road for 18 months and they've been everywhere. And they come to Cuba and it's like, oh, we got this. I'm not singling out Australians, but they are crazy travelers. And then you get to Cuba and it's like, wait a minute, where's the bus schedule? What is this 3 different currencies? How is this working? So to have our community of Cubans just all in the garden, we have hammocks, and then having visitors who maybe it's their first time in Cuba and can actually talk to someone and ask about all the craziness and all the complexities. And it's not a talking head, it's an actual person that's lived here their whole lives.
Is it mostly tourists, or is it expats, or is it like a mix kind of?
The expats here are doing their own thing. So we've had some expats, but it's almost all Cubans. It's almost all Cubans, and people say, oh, it's an English language bookstore and cafe, so it's only for foreigners. And that was never our idea. It's a place for everybody, but it just naturally kind of occurs, these conversations, these connections. We've had people fall in love and get married. We've had people thank us scholarships overseas, jobs overseas. I've written reference letters. So that's kind of how it began. Like, how can we make this little spot in Vedado, which is a very hip part of Havana, a place where people can come, they can get information, they know that they can have an affordable coffee, meet new people, or just relax in a green space without the noise and the kids and whatever it is of complexities of everyday life, and just escape that for a moment.